The rumor is Jorge "GameBred" Masvidal is gonna fight Gilbert Burns in a UFC event coming to you very, very soon. Of course, first of all, Masvidal's got to deal with his legal troubles. As we know, he had an altercation with Colby Covington and they are headed for trial sometime very, very soon. But Masvidal said that once he gets that out of the way, he wants to get back in the octagon, he wants to get back to fighting and winning, more importantly, and he's more than happy to take on Gilbert Burns. Gilbert Burns, one of the top contenders at welterweight, fought for the belt against Kamaru Usman, started off really good, dropped him early in the fight, had him hurt, but of course Kamaru, being the pound for pound number one, came back and got the victory, got the stoppage. But again, Burns lost in the next fight to Khamzat Chimaev. But in that fight, he pushed Khamzat to the absolute goddamn limit. It was a tremendous fight. Everyone loved it, okay? And it was a really good fight because it got to show us what Khamzat Chimaev is made of. What is he capable of? I always say in mixed martial arts, you're going to be a good hammer and a good nail. Of course, the nail part is you going out there and smashing your opponent to pieces. But when you're the nail, when you get battered, when you get beat up, when you almost get finished and you're beat from pillar to post and your face is bleeding blood everywhere, you've got to be able to go back to your corner at the end of a round, put that in the rearview mirror and go again. And I think we saw that from Khamzat, okay, because it wasn't one-way traffic. It was a back and forth affair. It was a tremendous fight. I'm talking about Khamzat. I'm talking about Gilbert Burns and showing what he showed us. He took Khamzat to the limit. It was a close fight, okay? I had Khamzat winning. Some people thought Burns did. I thought Khamzat got it, but still, the fact that he was able to go out there and give Khamzat such a great fight shows what the man is capable of. Of course, he beat Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, took him down and controlled him. Gilbert Burns started off as a jiu-jitsu guy, and now the career he's having in the UFC is unbelievable. He hits incredibly hard. He's got a great gas tank. He's a world champion jiu-jitsu guy, and he's got tremendous wrestling, and he's got a good mind for it. Now, he was calling out Jorge "GameBred" Masvidal, and Masvidal, as I said, he's open to the idea. He said, it's definitely a fight that interests me. Before the Conor fight came up, that's the one that called me out, and I was like, this is a guy that comes to fight. The whole world doesn't know him, but they will, because he comes to fight. He's going to try and choke you out, knock you out, and just has a good style. I like the fight. And then about the legal issues with Colby Covington, he said, one of these legal issues I've got going on are settled. I'm setting a date, Masvidal said. There's another reason why we're not setting dates right now, because I've just got to figure out some things and then we'll lock it in. But there was talk of this fight happening earlier, and Gilbert Burns, playing a little gamesmanship, he actually said, listen, I would be willing to take this fight and sign a no takedown agreement. Okay, of course, you know, Masvidal is going to favor fighting on the feet. He's an incredible striker, but he has been controlled in some fights. I'm talking about the last time out against Colby Covington. Colby implemented his game plan, pushed him up against the fence, controlled him, out-wrestled him for the majority of the fight, and won a decision. Now, that is where the legal troubles came about, because Masvidal allegedly didn't take too kindly to that. I don't know, allegedly again attacked him in a steakhouse. So that's where all the legal troubles come from. So they've got to figure that out. But anyway, back to Burns and Masvidal. Masvidal said, look, listen, I don't want Gilbert to sign no contract that says no takedowns. Do your game, my brother. Do what has gotten you here. And I love that about Masvidal. You gotta love his approach. You gotta love his attitude. Masvidal is a true fighter. He started fighting on the streets, in the backyard brawls with Kimbo Slice, rest in peace, and then of course made his way into mixed martial arts professionally, Strikeforce, and now in the UFC. And he's been a part of some massive fights, absolute massive fights. He generates so much interest. 2019, that is when his star really shone the brightest. Knocked out Darren Till with a tremendous performance. Followed that up with the quickest knockdown in the history of the UFC. 5-second knockout against Ben Askren with the flying knee. And then, of course, had a great performance against Nate Diaz. Stopped him by a cut, but it was a fight that he was dominating. Of course, there's a lot of Diaz fanboys out there that said it was stopped too early. But as Boris Johnson says, them's the breaks. You get a massive cut, sometimes the referee stops the fight, or the doctors stop the fight. Now, Masvidal's looking to get back on form. He really impressed me. He was very candid and he was very open, talking about his last fight against Colby Covington. He said, look, listen, I got controlled. I've got to work on some things. So he's working on his wrestling a lot. That's why he's saying to Gilbert Burns, hey, don't worry about takedowns, brother. Don't worry about jiu-jitsu. I will be prepared. I will be ready. Listen, Masvidal's a real one, right? I've talked about it before. I've had a few interactions. You know, the man's a proud Cuban. I might have said some things that upset him, but I had a bit of a beef with Yoel Romero for a while, and I think I kind of inherited Masvidal in that beef. And, you know, we got into a few altercations along the way. Hey, we're all fighters, you know. We tempers flare, emotions get the better of us. But me and Masvidal are all good now. We buried that hatchet a long time ago, and I'm a big fan of the guy. Now, in this fight, though, Gilbert Burns, yeah, he can take people down. Yeah, he's got jiu-jitsu. But the man comes to bang every single time. Against Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, that is a contradiction to what I just said. He used a very wrestling-heavy approach, grappling-heavy, jiu-jitsu heavy. But that's what you got to do against Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, because Wonderboy fights at such a range, at such a distance, and he's so fast. And he has such, in some ways, a unique skill set, the point karate style. There's not many people that do it as well as him. So fighting at a distance with Gilbert being the shorter guy, that probably wasn't the smartest game plan. So what he had to do was get his hands on him and take him down, and that's what he did. Did very, very well. But outside of those matchups, he comes to bang. That's what he did against Hamzat. That's what he did against Kamaru. In that first round, he dropped him, and he dropped him bad. Okay, so Masvidal, Gilbert Burns, I mean, come on, that would be a fan-friendly matchup. That is a co-main event on a pay-per-view any day of the week. That is a main event on any fight night in the world. Hey, even a main event on a pay-per-view, they're both absolutely massive stars. I guess the question is, who do I think would win? Well, if it plays out on the feet, you just never know. Masvidal, other than that knockout to Kamaru Usman, has shown a great ability to take a shot. The man has a chin. It's as simple as that. I have seen him eat some heavy, heavy shots and smile and grin and blow a kiss at his opponents. You know what I mean? So he would stand with Gilbert Burns, and I think he'd do very well. He's got tremendous footwork. He's very fast. He's very savvy. And he has underrated grappling as well. Yeah, Covington out-grappled him. Yeah, Usman did in that first one. But we're talking top of the food chain wrestlers there. So there's no shame in that. And he's working on those areas. He's getting better. Gilbert Burns on the feet, I think he can compete as well. I don't think he's quite as slick as Masvidal, but what he lacks in slickness, and by the way, he doesn't lack slick ability. They made up a new word for you there.
That's fucking weird, huh?
He doesn't lack slickness, but he's not as slick, but he has more power. Masvidal can bang, of course he can. You know, he knocked out Darren Till. I guess Scousers do get knocked out sometimes, sadly. Shout out Darren, hope you well, buddy. Hope you didn't take offense at that one.
Well, Bisping's just a dick.
But, you know, he can take a shot. Burns can land a shot. It's a fucking awesome fight. I just hope this one gets made. They're talking about it. Gilbert's down for it. Masvidal's down for it. If they're down for it, I guarantee the UFC are down for it as well. And I'm fucking well down for it. Anyway, hope you're all well. Do me a favor, subscribe and ring the bell. I'm doing a live tomorrow, so tune in for that one. Take care. Talk to you soon.